Hello dear children, welcome back. I'm Dr. Jisha. With this video, we are starting with our second semester portions for the biology board exam. As you all know, we have 5 chapters for our second semester exam, and the videos on all the 5 chapters have already been uploaded in my YouTube channel. You can watch these videos. From today onwards, I am planning to take each lesson part by part and also discuss with you the important questions that you can expect from each part. By doing like this, I am very sure that each one of you would be very thorough with each and every topic, and you can score very well for the coming board exams. So now we are starting with the endocrine system. In this video, we shall be discussing the difference between exocrine and endocrine glands, and also the difference between nervous control and hormonal control. A lot of activities are taking place in our body, and all these activities have to be coordinated, meaning that is all these activities have to be done at the proper time in the proper sequence. So this coordination of all these activities is performed by two systems in our body. The first is the nervous system and second is the endocrine system. Now, the endocrine system is so called because this system consists of several glands which are activated by one another, and they work in a coordinated manner to bring about a common function. So, all these glands are together, they make up a system, and hence they are called as the endocrine system. Now, before moving on to the endocrine glands, we should know what are actually glands. Glands are a group of cells that produce and secrete substances that bring about a common function in the body. Glands are of two types: endocrine glands and exocrine glands. Exocrine glands are duct glands. Duct glands meaning they have ducts through which they pour their secretions. Examples of exocrine glands are tear glands, salivary glands, sebaceous glands. So all these are exocrine glands because they pour their secretions through these ducts. The tear glands secrete the tear into the eyes or onto the surface of the eyes through the tear duct. The salivary glands secrete the saliva into the mouth through the salivary duct. The basic difference between exocrine and endocrine gland is that endocrine glands are ductless glands. They do not have any ducts, but they pour their secretions directly into the bloodstream. And through the blood, this secretion is passed throughout the body, and the action of these secretions are on some target organs away from the region of their origin. So I hope you have understood the basic difference between exocrine and endocrine glands. Exocrine glands are duct glands. The secretions of the exocrine glands may be enzymes, mucus, tear, sebum, sweat. All these are secretions of exocrine glands. Whereas endocrine glands are ductless glands. They do not have ducts, but they pour their secretions directly into the bloodstream. The secretions of the endocrine glands are called hormones. Now, what are actually hormones? Hormones are chemical substances which are secreted by the endocrine glands, which are poured directly into the bloodstream and are carried to all the different parts of the body through the blood, and their action is on specific target organs away from the place of their origin. So I hope you have now understood what are hormones. So hormones are actually chemical substances secreted by the endocrine glands and are poured directly into the bloodstream carried throughout the body through the blood, and their action is on specific target organs away from the place of their origin. Now we shall move on to see what is the difference between nervous control and hormonal control. So now let us have a look at the difference between hormonal control and nervous control. So first difference is based on action. Okay. Now hormones, the action is very slow, whereas in the nervous control the action is very rapid or immediate action occurs. Rapid or immediate action occurs in nervous control. Whereas hormonal control, for example, the effect of growth hormone, it is slow. Whereas when we take up an example of where nervous control occurs, for example, suddenly someone comes to prick into our eye. What do we do? Suddenly we close our eyes. Here the action is immediate. Okay, so that is the first difference. Hormonal control, action is slow. Nervous control, action is rapid or immediate. Now, second point is transmission. How are hormones transmitted? We have seen in the definition of hormones that hormones are chemical substances, isn't it? So, the transmission here, they are transmitted chemically. Hormones are transmitted chemically through the blood. Chemical transmission. Chemically they are transmitted. Whereas when we come to nervous control, the impulse is transmitted electrochemically through the nerve fibers and chemically as it passes through the synapse. So electrochemically transmitted through the nerve fibers and chemically as it passes through the synapse. The third point, the organs affected. Which are the organs that are affected by hormonal control? Different organs which are widespread are affected. Okay, different organs are affected. Whereas in the case of nervous control, it affects specific muscles or glands. Specific muscles or glands are affected in the case of nervous control. Moving on to the fourth point, the effect. Effect of hormonal control may be short term or long lasting. Suppose, for example, the blood sugar level is going high. Okay, hyperglycemia, or the sugar level in the blood, if it increases more than what is the normal level, naturally pancreas will secrete the hormone insulin. Insulin helps to check the rise of sugar level in the blood. And naturally the blood sugar level will go down or will be brought back to the normal. This is a short-term effect. An example of a long-lasting effect is the effect of growth hormone. When growth hormone is secreted in excess in childhood, it results in a condition called gigantism. So the effect of hormones may be short-term or long-lasting. Okay, effect may be short-term or long-lasting. Hope you have understood the difference between the two. Whereas in the case of nervous control, the effect is short-lived. Short-lived. For example, the same example which I always tell, that is, we are taken to the PT ground. We, if it is a hot sun, we don't stand in the hot sun throughout the period. We move to the shade, isn't it? So later on, once the period is over, we go on to our classes. So here the effect is short-lived. Another example, if someone comes to prick into our eyes, we close our eyes, but we don't always keep our eyes closed. After some time or immediately after that, we open our eyes. So the effect is short-lived in the case of nervous control. Okay, so in the case of hormonal control, the effect is short term or long lasting, whereas in the case of nervous control, the effect is short lived. Next point is the effect of hormonal control and nervous control on growth. Okay, hormonal control, it affects growth. Okay, growth is affects growth. The same example which I told before, for example, the growth hormone. Growth hormone can affect the growth, or it affects the growth of an individual, isn't it? So hormonal control affects the growth, whereas in the case of nervous control, it does not have any effect on the growth of the person. No effect on growth. No effect on growth. Next point, regulation of metabolism. In hormonal control, it regulates metabolism. Okay, metabolism is regulated, whereas in nervous control, metabolism is not regulated. No regulation of metabolism takes place in nervous control. Last point, the effect of learning experience. Okay, in hormonal control, learning experience doesn't have any influence there. Hormonal control cannot be modified by previous learning experiences, whereas nervous control can be modified by previous experiences. For example, salivation on seeing a food which we have already tasted before. So that is a nervous control which brings about salivation in the mouth, isn't it? So here learning experience has an effect, or under nervous control it can be modified by learning experience. So here learning cannot be modified by learning experience, whereas nervous control can be modified by previous learning experiences. So these are the basic differences between nervous control and hormonal control. So dear children, in this video we have discussed the basic difference between exocrine and endocrine glands. We have seen why endocrine glands are called ductless glands. And also we have seen the basic difference between nervous control and hormonal control. Hope whatever we have discussed in this session is clear to all of you. If you have any doubts regarding anything what we have studied today, please ask your doubts and give your suggestions in the comment section. Thank you.